fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 10 in the league where they play for pay. Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here. Just when we thought we had it all figured out, boom! What a crazy week in the NFL last week. All sorts of wild games. First place teams like Vegas and Dallas and Buffalo all go down to teams that didn't have winning records at the time. Crazy stuff in the NFL. All you need to know about the NFL last weekend is that Adrian Peterson, let me say it again, Adrian Peterson had as many touchdowns as the Rams and Buffalo did combined. That sums up last weekend. Wild stuff. It's very hard to pick games with these quarterbacks being injured and COVID, who's in and out of the lineup, with the parity in the league. There's no great team out there. The NFL used to be year to year. Now it's week to week. You really see that. It's a week to week league. Real quick on the playoff picture. Remember, it's the top 7 in each conference, and only the top team in each conference gets a bye. AFC right now, Tennessee is the 1. Baltimore's the 2, the Chargers are the 3, Buffalo's the 4, Vegas is the 5, Pittsburgh's the 6, New England is the 7. Those would be your playoff teams right now. Chiefs, Browns, Bengals, Broncos, Colts, all in the hunt. As far as the NFC, Arizona's the 1, Green Bay the 2, Tampa the 3, Dallas the 4, Rams the 5, Saints the 6, Falcons the 7, and then you got teams like Carolina, Minnesota, even Seattle still in the hunt. But there's a long way to go. A long way to go. I always say this. The NFL is, 16, now 17 games. It's a short season, but there's a lot of twists and turns in those 16, 17 games. A lot of up and down play. All right, week number 10. Let's get it going. 4 teams on a bye this week. The Texans on a bye. They're 1-8, lost to the Dolphins. The Texans should basically just take the rest of the year off. Giants on a bye. They're up to 3-6, beat Vegas. The Giants have played much better the last few weeks. You'd like to see the Giants healthy. They have some talent on that team. Bears, they're down to 3-6 on the bye. Lost to Pittsburgh in a heartbreaking game. They showed a lot of character coming back from 14 down on the road. Could have easily won this game. Took too many penalties. Some of them were not penalties. I thought the refereeing was atrocious in that game. Bears fought hard. That is the best Fields has looked. Fields played very well in the second half. If you're a Bear fan, you have to be encouraged by that. That was a heartbreaking loss for the Bears. And the Bengals on a bye. They're down to 5-4. The Bengals need a bye in the worst way. They beat Baltimore a few weeks ago. They were 5-2, first place, flying high, and they have fallen flat on their face. They lose to the Jets. Then they got run over by the Browns here. This game is 0-0. The Bengals are driving, and then Burrow throws a 99-yard interception, to the Browns. They go the other way. The game was never the same. Oh, the Bengals. What's going on with them? The Bengals got 99 problems, and the Browns have just won. Joe Burrow, if you're having interception problems, I feel bad for your son. The Bengals got 99 problems, and the Browns have just won. So the Bengals on a bye at 5-4, going in the wrong direction. All right, those are your 4 teams on a bye. Let's get to pick number 1. This is the Thursday night game. Let's go down to South Beach, where I was last week for the Texans and the Dolphins. I will have no road trips this week. By the way, don't ever order anything down in South Beach. Very overpriced. I got iceberg lettuce and 3 croutons. $25. Dressing was extra. It reminds me of, remember the movie Pulp Fiction when John Travolta orders the $5 shake? And he goes, $5 for milk and ice cream? They don't even put bourbon in this? That's what I felt like in South Beach last week. A little iceberg lettuce and 3 croutons. $25. Anyway, the Thursday night game, the Baltimore Ravens are -7 against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins, as I mentioned, beat the Texans. The Dolphins are up to 2-7. Brissett filled in for Tua. Tua has a broken finger. Baltimore, they're up to 6-2. Beat Minnesota in overtime in a wild game. Jackson, one of the front runners for MVP right now. Baltimore was down big in this game a couple times, came rallying back as they often do. Baltimore having a nice season. Listen, you move this line to 1 and you take the Ravens. There's no other way to go here. You can't trust the Dolphins. I know they beat the Texans, big deal. The Dolphins are not good enough to beat the Ravens. There'll be a lot of Raven fans down there in South Florida. I know it's Thursday Night Football. I know it's tricky. The play for me is 2-team teaser, move it to 1 and take the Ravens. Have to go with the Ravens. I don't even know if 2 is playing in this game. I like Baltimore. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis Colts are -10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indianapolis up to 4-5, beat the Jets on Thursday Night Football. Wentz played well in that game. Colts have played a lot better recently. They got off to a terrible start. The Colts have played a lot better recently. And then you got Jacksonville. Pulled the stunner of the year, maybe the stunner of the decade. They're up to 2-6. They beat Buffalo 9-6. Jacksonville, who was 14-point underdogs, beat Buffalo 9-6. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How in the world did that happen? Kept Buffalo out of the end zone. Kept Buffalo scoreless the second half. Jacksonville, who looked horrible against Seattle the week before. Pitiful. Couldn't get any pass rush on Geno Smith at all. They ate up the Buffalo offensive line. They ate up Josh Allen. They forced him into some bad turnovers. Jacksonville looked hungry in that game. I didn't recognize them. Who was this team? So great job by Jacksonville. I bashed them for a long time, but they came to play and they outworked Buffalo in that game, got the W. As far as this game, Colts 10-point favorite at home against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, listen, I hate to rain on your parade, but it's back to life, back to reality, back to the here and the now. However do you want me? However do you need me? It's time to get back to reality. It's time to get back to reality for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts will roll over Jacksonville this week. 3-team teaser, you get 9 points, moving to 1 and take the Colts. There is no way Jacksonville is doing this 2 weeks in a row, and there is no way Jacksonville's going to win again by the score of 9-6. If Jacksonville doesn't get in the end zone in this game, they will lose like 42-3. I see the Colts rolling over Jacksonville in this game. I think this is going to be a major blowout. Back to reality for Jacksonville. Colts roll. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go up to Foxborough, where the New England Patriots are -1.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland up to 5-4, blew out Cincinnati. Mayfield played great. No Odell Beckham Jr. The Browns have parted ways with him. We'll see where he ends up. I hear some rumors, maybe Seattle, maybe a couple other teams. We'll see where Odell Beckham ends up. But Cleveland, they just rolled in this game. Steamrolled Cincinnati. That was an important win for Cleveland. New England, they are a surprise. They are up to 5-4, beat Carolina. That New England defense can play. Jones, the quarterback, does some really good things. I know he got in trouble on that tackle. The Carolina player said it was dirty. Jones said, I was just trying to make a play. I don't think it was anything malicious. I mean, but you can't injure someone that way. But overall, New England doing a really nice job. I don't think anyone thought they'd be 5-4 at this point in the season. And as I've mentioned a million times, they could be better than 5-4. Had a couple good teams on the ropes. So New England doing a really nice job. This is a very interesting game. A very interesting game. I'm going to move the line to 7.5 and take the Browns. I can't pick a winner here. The Browns looked really good last week. Their defense played well. I think they can harass the young quarterback here. I think this game is a field goal game either way. Hard to pick a winner. So I'm going to move it to 7.5 and take the Browns. I think it's close either way. Very interesting game. It's a game I'd keep an eye on. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas. Jerry's World. where it all fell apart for the Cowboys last week. With the Dallas Cowboys are 6-2 -9 against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons up to 4-4, had a nice gutty road win in the Superdome against the Saints. Had a huge lead in this game, coughed it up, but then Matt Ryan, the bomb to Patterson late, sets up the game-winning field goal. Very gutty win by the Falcons. They looked atrocious the week before against the Panthers. They played well here. Matt Ryan looked like a completely different player. Against the Panthers, he was awful. Against the Saints here, he was on fire. He threw for over 350 yards. Really nice, gutty win by the Falcons. The Falcons, as I mentioned, are in the last playoff spot right now. That's hard to believe. And then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They're down to 6-2. They got bombed by Denver at home. No other way to say it. They got pushed around. Denver ran the ball right down their throat. The Dallas offense couldn't do anything. Got a couple late touchdowns. That was window dressing. Prescott looked rusty. Prescott looked more rusty after a couple weeks off from this injury than he did missing the whole year last year. He looked more rusty missing these last couple weeks. Dallas offense out of sync. This was a bad performance by Dallas, and they've done some really nice things this year. And as you see in the NFL, every team takes it on the chin at one point or another. You're not going to go undefeated. Every team takes a bad loss at some point during the year. And Dallas took their bad loss. Denver pushed them around from start to finish. At one point in this game, it was 30-0 Denver. That's all you need to know. I think Dallas rebounds here. I'm going to move it to pick them in a 3-team teaser. You get 9 points. Move it to pick them. I like Dallas. I cannot see Dallas losing back-to-back home games. I cannot see Prescott playing any worse than he did last week. I think Dallas will be angry. They'll be mad. Atlanta had a nice win last week, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. They're an up-and-down team. I think Dallas rebounds in a big way here. I like the boys in the Big D. That's pick number 4. How about them Cowboys? Pick number 5. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from where I am here with the Buffalo Bills. A -13 against the New York Football Jets. Jets down to 2-6. Lost to the Colts on Thursday Night Football. We'll see who's quarterbacking the Jets this week. Will it be Wilson? Will it be White? White got banged up last week. I don't think it'll be Flacco. Josh Johnson actually played well for the Jets last week. But it'll probably be between White and Wilson. We'll see. A lot of Jet fans are on the White bandwagon now, and Wilson has been pushed aside. Didn't take long for that to happen. Then you got Buffalo, who laid an absolute stink bomb in Jacksonville. Buffalo down to 5-3, lost to the Jaguars 9-6. Couldn't get in the end zone. Got shut out in the second half. Josh Allen was awful in this game. 3 interceptions, and bad interceptions. One time he's being tackled, just throws the ball for grabs. I've seen quarterbacks do that 3 times in the last couple weeks. Allen did it, Stafford did it, Wentz did it, all in the last few weeks where they're being tackled and they just throw the ball up for grabs. Been picked off every time. Josh Allen was atrocious in this game. The Buffalo running game, non-existent. Penalties all over the place for Buffalo. This was a sloppy, unprofessional effort by Buffalo. And remember, Buffalo lost a few weeks ago to Tennessee. Then they had a bye week. They didn't play well against Miami last week, and they played atrocious here. Atrocious here. Buffalo's got to wake up. Buffalo's got to wake up. There's time, but they have Super Bowl aspirations. If you watched that game last week, you would say not only are they not a Super Bowl team, they don't even look like a playoff team. And New England, all of a sudden, is a half a game behind Buffalo for the division. So Buffalo's got to pick it up, and it starts right now. They have to plaster the Jets. 14 teaser, you get 12 points, move it to 1, you take the Bills. You have to think the Bills are going to respond here. If the Bills do not respond here, that is danger, danger, danger time for the Bills, because that'll be like 3-4 weeks in a row they didn't play well. And the last 3 weeks against bad teams. Miami, Jacksonville, Jets. Those all should be wins. Bills should win this game. I'm going to keep an eye on them. They have to come to play this week. I think they will. Too much talent not to. I like the Bills. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, where the Tennessee Titans are -3.5 against the New Orleans Saints. Saints down to 5-3, lost to Atlanta, fell way behind in this game. Simeon rallied back. Hill also played, and then the Saints give up the bomb at the end and the game-winning field goal. This was a bad loss for the Saints. They just played that nice game against the Bucs the week before, and then you come home and you fall way behind against the Falcons, you end up losing. Not a good loss for the Saints. And the Saints have been up and down this year too. They've had some great wins and some bad losses, up and down. Now, of course, the quarterback situation plays into that. Winston's out for the year. You got Simeon. Hill just got back. Still, the Saint defense was not good in this game. They got carved up by Matt Ryan. Carved up. Carved up by Matt Ryan. The same Matt Ryan and the same Falcon team that couldn't move the ball from here to there against the Panthers the week before. And no Calvin Ridley either. That was a bad loss by the Saints in their building. Then you got Tennessee. How good is Tennessee playing? They're up to 7-2, just smacked around the Rams in Los Angeles. Henry might be back this year. Not totally done. He might be back. Everyone heals differently. You first thought he'd be gone for the year. He could get back. Tennessee, though, they showed up to play, and they just mauled the Rams. Beat them on both sides of the ball. That was a great effort by Tennessee. Tennessee is showing me a lot this year. A lot. This is a very good game. A very good game. And I would personally stay away from this game. If I had to pick it, 2-team teaser, I'd go move it to 9.5 and take the Saints. I think it will be a close game. I think the Saint defense will play better this week. It's a tough game to pick straight up, though. A very tough game. And I could see most of you taking Tennessee. Tennessee is riding high right now. After they had that inexplicable loss to the Jets, they've been on fire. Hard to pick against them. As far as a teaser goes, I'll take a chance to move it to 9.5. Say the Saints hang around in this game. I think the Saint defense will play better. Saints a little more desperate in this game, too, after that loss last week. But it's a tough game. Not one of my favorite plays. Very good game. I keep an eye on that game. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go down to the capital, Washington, D.C., where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are -9 against the Washington football team. Both teams coming off a bye. Tampa 6-2 off the bye. Washington 2-6 off the bye. When is Ryan Fitzpatrick going to play? Is he going to play at all this year? I mean, he's been gone the whole year. Not that I love him, but I mean, Washington's had all sorts of problems. They need any sort of, jolt of life. Maybe Fitzpatrick could give it to him for a game or two. Very disappointing year for Washington. The defense has played lousy. They were so good last year. The spread's 9. 3-team teaser move to pick 'em. You got to like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at 6-2, coming off a bye and coming off a loss, will beat a bad Washington football team at 2-6. There's no other way around it. You got to like Tampa Bay here. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are -9 again over the Detroit Lions. Detroit 0-8 coming off a bye. Detroit, of course, got plastered 2 weeks ago as well. I'm so down on Detroit. Oh, they just drive me crazy. Pittsburgh, they're up to 5-3. They've won 4 straight, beat Chicago, almost blew the lead. Pittsburgh very lucky to win this game. Very lucky. Had a huge lead, coughed it up in the second half. Defense played atrocious in the second half. Got a lot of calls in their favor. Pittsburgh was lucky to escape with a win in this game. But they did win. They are up to 5-3. They are in playoff position, and they have won 4 in a row. And I never saw that coming when they were 1-3. Now, listen, I'm still not a believer in them. I don't think they're a big-time team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. Maybe they can squeak into the bottom half of the playoffs. I don't think they can do anything big, but give them credit. They've won 4 in a row. And by the way, how bad was the broadcast last night with Levy and Brian Griese? First of all, on the last kick of the game, Levy said it hit the goalpost when it was about 10 yards short. I don't like Levy as a play-by-play guy on Monday Night Football. I like him on ESPN, do not like him on Monday Night Football. He was clueless there. And how clueless was Brian Griese? The Bears tie the game at 26, and they're going for the extra point, and the Steelers jump off sides. And Brian Griese says the Bears now have options. They might want to consider going for 2 here. What? It's 26-26. An extra point gives you the lead. You want the Bears to go for 2 and go up 28-26, what would that do for you? And, oh, by the way, what if you don't get it? The game's tied. Brian Greasy, come back to earth, my friend. And he's usually pretty good. Clueless. That's terrible broadcasting. That's terrible broadcasting. How do you say at 26-26 that the Bears should consider going for two when an extra point gives them the lead late in the game? What does going for two do for you there? What's the difference between 27-26 or 28-26? A field goal still beats you either way. And oh, by the way, if you don't get it, the game's tied, my friend. That's terrible broadcasting. That's unprofessional broadcasting. Brian Greasy, come back to earth, my friend. Awful. Anyway, by the way, the Bears did kick the extra point. Steelers went down, kicked the game-winning field goal. Steelers at home, -9 against Detroit. Come on. 3-team teaser, 9 points, moving to pick 'em. You got to like the Steelers. Steelers are always good at home. They've won 4 in a row. Detroit hasn't won a game all year. Where do you think I'm going here? Pittsburgh, pick number 8. Pick number 9, let's go out to sunny Los Angeles where the LA Chargers are -3 against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota down to 3-5, lost a heartbreaker to Baltimore. Minnesota has lost some heartbreaking games this year. They've had a tough schedule. They've come out on the wrong end of the stick most of the time, though, 3-5. They have had a tough schedule, though. Chargers, they're up to 5-3, beat Philly in a close game. They get the game-winning kick at the end. Chargers go into first place. Chargers needed that win. They had lost a couple in a row. I'm going to move the line to 9 here and take the Vikings. As I just mentioned, the Vikings have been in a lot of close games this year. They've had a tough schedule. It always seems to come right down to the end with them. I think this game should be no different. So I like Minnesota +9 here to keep it close. And that is pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go out to the desert in Arizona where the Arizona Cardinals are -10 against the Carolina Panthers. Arizona up to 8-1, beat San Francisco, despite not having J.J. Watt, who's out for the year, Murray, who missed the game, and oh, by the way, Hopkins, who missed the game. Colt McCoy, yes, Colt McCoy led them to victory. Arizona, best record in the NFL. Arizona is impressing me. They are a lot better than they were last year, especially on defense. They are impressing me, Arizona. Great job by them. Great job by the coaching staff. You can't really say anything bad about them. They are a hair away from being undefeated. They could have easily beat Green Bay. Carolina, they're down to 4-5, lost to New England. How bad was Donald last week? How awful was he? 3 interceptions. At 14-6, Carolina's going in for a touchdown. Donald rolls left, picked off, run the other way. Carolina gets back down the field again. Donald rolls left, picked off. Donald rolls left, picked off. Donald rolls left, picked off. Hey, Mr. Sam Darnold, don't roll left and throw anymore. As a matter of fact, I've seen enough of Sam Darnold. I thought he was overrated coming out of college. I thought he was overrated with the Jets, and I've seen enough of him here on Carolina. Carolina should go in a different direction, and I'm not saying Mr. Walker is the answer. I'm not saying Mr. Walker is the answer, and they can't trade for Watson right now either. But they need to go in a different direction. Sam Darnold is not the answer. He was as bad as you could possibly be against the Patriots. And I know the Patriots have a good defense against the pass, but Sam Darnold, those throws were awful. He threw them right to the other team. Deplorable. 3-team teaser. Move it to 1, take Arizona. You hope Murray and Hopkins get back on the field. I think they would, but Colt McCoy looked good last week. Give him credit. He was ready to play. I don't trust Carolina at all. Arizona's doing too many good things. I like the Cardinals. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. Interesting game here. Let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field where the team with the most Super Bowls and championships resides, the Green Bay Packers, who are -4.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks 3-5 coming off the bye. Russell Wilson comes back. Seattle only a game out of a playoff spot. Only a game out of a playoff spot, so they are not dead. Russell Wilson got back sooner than we thought. So Seattle's still alive here. Green Bay, they're down to 7-2, lost to Kansas City. Of course, no Rodgers with the whole COVID thing. Jordan Love didn't play well. I mean, if Rodgers played, I think Green Bay would have won. Kansas City wasn't all that impressive. but Green Bay does take the loss. This is a very interesting game, especially with Russell Wilson coming back, and you would think Rodgers would play, right? You would think he would play. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take Seattle. They're coming off a bye. Russell Wilson back. They're still alive for a playoff spot. Green Bay, they're in a lot of close games. They're in some close. They usually pull them out. They're in a lot of close games. I think Seattle could hang around in this game. It's a very important game for Seattle. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take Seattle. It's risky going up against Rodgers at Lambeau if he plays, which I think he will. I have a feeling Russell Wilson and the Hawks are going to come to play this week. I'm going to move it to 10.5 and take the Birds. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go to the Mile High City in Denver, where the Denver Broncos are -2.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles down to 3-6, lost to the Chargers. We'll still see about Hurts. Hurts has been up and down. He does some good things. He does some bad things. Eagles get a lot of respect with the point spread, by the way, for a 3-6 team. They don't seem to be like underdog by a lot of points. They get a lot of respect for the in the point spread, considering they're 3-6. Denver, tremendous win last week. They're up to 5-4. Denver's been a strange team this year. They were 3-0, then they were 3-4. Now they're 5-4. Up, down, all around. But they had a great win last week. They had just jettisoned Von Miller away, and they going into Dallas, one of the hottest teams in the league, and they just pummeled the boys. They just smacked the boys around. They were up 30-0 in this game. Manhandled the boys. There were a lot of Bronco fans in Dallas. You see that now. A lot of opposing fans get into the building now, with StubHub and, people not wanting to go to the game with COVID and all that. A lot of road teams bring in a lot of fans. There was a lot of orange in Dallas last week. Great job by the Denver fans. Great job by Denver winning that game. I'm going to wrap this teaser around the other way. Denver's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to make it a 3.5-point spread here. I'm going to take Denver plus 3.5 in a two-team teaser. Listen, I think Denver's going to win this game outright, so I certainly would love them in a two-team teaser getting 3.5. If Philly happens to win this game, you have to think it's going to be by a field goal. They can't win by any more than that. I think Denver wins outright. They played really well in Dallas. I don't trust Philadelphia at all. They're a 3-6 team. I like Denver here to take care of business. That's pick number 12. Pick number 13. It's a nice division rivalry game here. Let's go to Las Vegas, where the Kansas City Chiefs are -3 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe this is the Sunday night game. Chiefs up to 5-4. I mentioned they beat Green Bay. Didn't look great doing it, but got the win. They've won a couple in a row. Defense playing a little better. Still a little shaky though, Kansas City. They just don't look like the same team. Raiders, they're coming off a bad loss. Bad loss to the Giants. They're down to 5-3. It's a very important game in the grand scheme of things in the AFC West. A very big game. I'm going to move the line and take Vegas here. I don't trust the Chiefs, and I don't think the Chiefs deserve to be favored on the road. I really don't. I think the Raiders at home are going to win this game outright. So I certainly love them in a two-team teaser here. I'm going to move it to 9 and take the Raiders at home. I think the Raiders win this game outright. I just don't trust the Chiefs this year. And the Raiders off a loss, coming back home, I think they're going to play a big-time football game. They didn't look good at all against the Giants. I think they'll play better here, and I think they beat the Chiefs. I think the Raiders should be favored here, not the Chiefs. That's pick number 13. And finally, pick number 14. This is the Monday Night Football game, where the LA Rams are -4 in San Francisco. How bad was San Francisco last week? They're down to 3-5, lost to Arizona. Arizona has the quarterback out, their best receiver out, J.J. Watt out, and Arizona just hammered the Niners in San Francisco. That was an atrocious performance by the Niners. I've seen enough of Garoppolo now, and I've supported Garoppolo, and he was a hair away from winning the Super Bowl a few years ago, a hair away from winning the MVP in the Super Bowl. I have seen enough of him. And I don't know if Lance is the answer either, but that performance against Arizona last week, that was not good. That sealed the deal for me on not only the Niners, but Garoppolo. I've seen enough. I've seen enough of both. Very disappointing performance. Arizona has all those guys out, and you just get bombed off the field like that on your own home field, and you let Arizona push you around like that. Embarrassing performance. So I've seen enough of the Niners this year. I think I've seen enough of Garoppolo as well. Like I said, I don't know if Lance is the answer, but the Niners, they're not going to do big things this year. And then you got the Rams. Talking about bad performances. The Rams got run over by Tennessee. That's the second time the Rams have been beat up bad in their own building. Got beat up by Arizona, got beat up here by Tennessee. Stafford was awful. Again, another team with a million penalties. That was another theme last week. Million penalties from everybody. Rams had 1,000 penalties, and they usually don't commit a lot of penalties. And I misspoke last week. I called the Rams a great defense. Listen, last year they were a very good defense. They've had moments this year where they've been very good. So far, though, they haven't been a great defense. They have the potential to be a great defense, especially adding Von Miller, who will be back this week. But so far, they haven't been a great defense. And that was not a good performance last week. And the Rams talk a good game. We're the big bad Rams, and we like to push you around. Well, they got pushed around again in their own building. That's the second time I saw that. We'll see how the Rams start to play now with Von Miller. I have high hopes for the Rams. Big expectations for the Rams. I think it starts here. Money line. Rams, take care of business. I don't like the Niners' body language at all, and the Rams have to start playing better football right now. Listen, they have a good record. We all know that. We all know that. They've only lost 2 games. But I expect them to play better against teams like Tennessee and teams like Arizona. They got pushed around by both of those teams. This is a team that is made to win a Super Bowl now, or so they say. I think they rebound here on Monday Night Football. I like the Rams in the money line. Von Miller will get on the field. I think now the Rams, you're going to find out about them. How good are they going to be? It starts Monday. I think they take care of business. That's pick number 14. There you go. You're all caught up. You're all set. Thanks as always for the support. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Take care.